Hi guys, I'm October, but you can call me Toby. Thanks for coming to spend some time with me. Today I'm going to be doing a Crochet Totoro tutorial. This character comes from the Studio Ghibli film, My Neighbor Totoro. We adore Studio Ghibli in this house, and My Neighbor Totoro has become one of my child's favourite movies, especially to watch when they're needing to calm down a little bit. Luckily enough, my partner and I purchased the blue Totoro before my child was born, and that has become a favourite toy. And I thought, why not make the little white Totoro? So that's what I'll be doing today. I'll put the full pattern down in the description so you can make them too. Here are the things you'll need to create this little Totoro. For the yarn, I use this Baby Bella Baby Chenille, and it is in the colour white. It's very soft, not overly fluffy. It is quite fiddly to work with though. I used fabric glue to help me make the eyes along with the felt. You'll need polyfill for the stuffing, 2mm crochet hook, embroidery and yarn needles, embroidery thread in the same colours as your eyes, so mine was black and white. You'll need scissors, stitch markers. I also use this plastic cover from an A5 notebook. The plastic is thin but strong enough to make the backing for the eyes. So let's get started. Make a magic ring. For round 1, we'll be doing 4 single crochet into that magic ring. Remember to insert a marker into your last stitch, or alternatively you can insert a marker into the first stitch of each round. Completely depends on what you like to do. I was using the 4th stitch for this Totoro, but realised in doing the larger Totoro that it was easier to use 2 stitch markers and be using the first stitch for each round. Now you can pull the tail of the magic ring nice and tight to seal off that hole. For round 2, we'll be doing an increase into each of those 4 single crochet. Remember to insert your marker at the end of this round. We'll do this on every round moving forward. I have found it easier to use 2 markers, leaving one in the first stitch of the previous round, and then using a new one in the first stitch of the round I'm currently on. For round 3, we will be doing 3 single crochet and then an increase, and we'll do this twice. We now have 10 single crochet, so for round 4 we will be doing 10 single crochet around. Round 5, we'll do 4 single crochet, then an increase, and we'll do this twice. This will leave us with 12 single crochet in total. For rounds 6 and 7, we'll be doing 12 single crochet around. Now the first ear is all finished, so you can tie off your yarn and cut it. Repeat steps 1 through 7 to create a second ear, but do not tie off or cut your yarn when you are finished. Now that we have both ears done, let's start on the body. You're going to put your hook back through the loop on the ear you just finished, and we will be doing 11 single crochet around this ear to start off. Since we are continuing on from creating the ear, I'm considering this round 8, so moving forward we'll be doing round 9, 10, 11, etc. In the 12th stitch, we're going to do a slip stitch that also goes through the other ear. Once you have your slip stitch through both ears, joining them together, you'll do 11 single crochet around the ear you've just joined on, and that will be how our body begins. We'll now be working in the round that we've created across these 2 ears. For round 9, we're going to do 1 increase and 3 single crochet 5 times. We'll finish off with 1 increase and 1 single crochet. Round 10 will be 3 single crochet, 1 increase, repeated 7 times. We now have 36 stitches on our round. So for rounds 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15, we will be doing 36 stitches. Round 16 will be 1 increase, 5 single crochet, 1 increase, 4 single crochet, 1 increase, 7 single crochet, 1 increase, 9 single crochet, an increase, 3 single crochet, an increase, and 2 single crochet. For round 17, we'll do 3 single crochet, an increase, 4 single crochet, an increase, 4 single crochet, an increase, 18 single crochet, 1 increase, 4 single crochet, an increase, 3 single crochet, and an increase to finish off. Round 18, we'll do 1 single crochet, a decrease, 4 single crochet, a decrease, 5 single crochet, a decrease, 6 single crochet, a decrease, 6 single crochet, a decrease, 5 single crochet, a decrease, 4 single crochet, a decrease, and then 3 single crochet. We now have 41 stitches on our round, so for round 19 we'll just be doing 41 single crochet. For round 20, we're going to do 2 single crochet and increase, 8 single crochet and increase, 4 single crochet and increase, 5 single crochet and increase, 6 single crochet and increase, 4 single crochet and increase, 4 single crochet and increase, and 1 single crochet. Round 21 is where our decreases ramp up. So we'll do 16 single crochet, a decrease, then we'll do 4 single crochet and a decrease 3 times, and finish off with 12 single crochet. Round 22, we're going to do 3 single crochet and a decrease 8 times, then we'll do 4 single crochet to finish off this round. At this point, I used the tail from the first ear to sew up any wide spots that were between the ears, and I also sewed through the tips of the ears from one side to the other, just to make them a little bit more pointy and a little less rounded looking. Round 23, we're going to do 5 single crochet, a decrease. We'll do this 5 times and finish off with a single crochet. This is where I added my stuffing, but you could have done this in the last couple of rounds. I wouldn't wait too much longer because it's getting a little bit narrow at the bottom. Round 24, we're going to do 2 single crochet and a decrease 7 times and finish off with 3 single crochet. Round 25 is 1 single crochet and a decrease 8 times. And our final round, round 26, is 1 single crochet and a decrease 5 times, and then a single crochet to finish off. Now you can cut your yarn at any final stuffing. we'll pull our yarn back through the last loop, and we're going to use our yarn needle to sew through that last 11 single crochet before pulling the tail tight to close up that hole at the bottom, and then we'll fasten off our yarn. Now the body's all finished. It's looking nice and cute. The front's a little bit flatter with the roundedness at the back heading down towards the bottom. And I'm going to place a stitch marker about where I'd like to put the tail. Now that we have the body all finished, let's create the tail. You can see here on my practice Totoro that I created when making this pattern that I had a little much more rounded tail. I wasn't too happy with the look of this. I want it to be more of a pointed tail like it appears to be in the show. So I reworked it, and this is how it turned out. Instead of a magic ring for this one, we'll be starting with a chain. We're going to chain 4, and that 4th chain does not count as a stitch. Place your marker in the 3rd chain. This will be the chain we're working from. Using a chain instead of a magic ring will create a flatter tip for the tail rather than a rounded one like the end of a cone. For our second round, we're doing 1 single crochet into the marked chain, a single crochet into the next chain, then we'll do an increase in the next chain. We will rotate our work and we'll be working into what's considered the bottom of the chain. We're going to do a single crochet into the next chain, and then we're going to do an increase on that marked chain again. From here on out, we'll be working in the round for this piece. Round 3 will be an increase and then 3 single crochet. We'll do that twice. Round 4 will be 4 single crochet and then an increase. Again, we'll do that twice. Round 5 is an increase, a single crochet, an increase, 3 single crochet, an increase, and 5 single crochet. You can see here I'm having a look at the work, and there are a few wider gaps at the end, which we'll deal with later. And testing it out against the Totoro, in reflection I do wish I'd stopped at this point and kept it as a small little tail, or perhaps even just done round 6 and stopped there. For round 6, we'll be doing 4 single crochet, an increase, 2 single crochet, an increase, 6 single crochet, and an increase. Round 7 is 10 single crochet, an increase, 6 single crochet, and an increase. Again, I'm checking out how wide the gaps are at the end of the tail there. and testing this out against the Totoro. You can see how much bigger this has become. I do like the width of it, but I don't think it should be quite as long as I ended up making it. So at the time, I didn't think this tail was quite long enough yet. So round 8 is 18 single crochet. Finally, I decided that this tail was long enough, so I tied off and cut my yarn. When cutting your yarn, make sure to leave a really long tail so that you can use that to sew this onto the body. I then used the tail at the top end and a little bit of additional yarn to sew up any of those wide holes that were on the tip, just to make sure that my stuffing was not going to be popping out of there. Now that that's all done, you can stuff your tail using the polyfill or whatever stuffing you're using. I wanted mine firm but not stiff. But given the size, it did end up a little bit stiff anyway, so up to you how much stuffing you want to use. Position the tail on the body, and then using the tail you left on your tail, you're going to sew that tail onto the body. Now I also used the tail that I'd left at the bottom of the body. I just went back through the body with that and then used that to sew on the tail before I tied off that and used the tail on my tail to finish sewing my tail on. Was that enough tails? And here is our little finished Totoro body with ears and tail. You can see that the tail's quite long. It does create stability so the Totoro can stand up on its own, but I do wish I had made it a little bit smaller. Moving on to the eyes, I tried out a few different options here just to see what size and shape I wanted. These are the materials I used to make the eyes, so some felt, some plastic, embroidery thread and needles, and fabric glue. This isn't my first attempt at making eyes. I made felt eyes and embroidered the pupil, and then for one of the eyes I embroidered the whole of the sclera. I like the look of the felt eye, but it's super flimsy, and I did not like the look of the fully embroidered eye, so I want something that looks like the felt eye but is much stronger. So I was in a bit of a hard spot here because these are both glued on, and then I fully embroidered that one and I wasn't sure what to do. So I had a look at this Totoro we bought, and his eyes are hard, but they are some sort of felt or white material covering something hard with a little hard pupil. So I thought, why not use some plastic and I can cover it with the felt, and then I would also have a hard surface that I can attach to my Totoro. So I made these eyes up, and I liked the look of them, but I realised I would not be able to embroider on these since they're fully glued down. And so I thought initially that I'd just add additional felt on top and embroider on that. But my first attempt at this, I made the pupil too thick and it did not work out. It just looks really bad. The second attempt you'll see in a moment, and I like how it looks on its own, but it looks wrong when put on the Totoro. So I was left with having to remake the eyes again. So here's Totoro without any eyes. I've cut the others off. That's my second attempt there. The pupil is embroidered and so is the black around the edge. Here's the first attempt where I made the pupil too thick. So now let's have another go at making eyes, and hopefully these will be the final ones. To start off, I'm going to outline this circle on the black plastic and cut that out. I'm then going to cut around these plastic circles with some excess on the white felt. I'll glue them down. And then I am going to cut little triangles out of the white felt so that I can glue that down onto the black plastic. Cutting out these little triangles will stop there being too much bulk on the back of the eye and also allow for it to glue down flatter. Alright, they're looking good. So now I'm going to need some pupils. I'm going to use permanent marker on the end of this pen to create little circles that I can cut out on the black felt. I find that using a sticker on the felt makes cutting out little shapes like this a lot easier. And also I have no good way of making an imprint on the black felt, especially at this scale, without having a sticker on the back to draw on. Now I'm going to glue these onto the eyes. Okay, I'm really happy with those. I would have liked to have embroidered pupils, but I think I'm going to leave it as is for now. This is how it looks on the Totoro, and I think it's really cute. It quite embodies the sort of shocked look this little white character has all the time. So now to attach them to the Totoro, I'm going to stitch through the back of the felt. This will also help keep the felt tight on that plastic. I'll add some glue, and after a couple of minutes I'll stitch back through the back of the felt and stitch through the Totoro. So that's how I'll attach both eyes. And here he is, all finished. I think he looks adorable, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. In the future I may embroider those eyes, but for now I'm really happy with this, and I think it's a simple solution. Thank you for joining me today to make this little Totoro. I hope you liked him, and I'd be curious to see what you do differently if you make him. Hopefully you'll join me again next time. Have a good day. Bye.